to our first destination. We are in Bakersfield. We're tired. It's like 8:30 at night. So we're gonna make some dinner. And then tomorrow we're gonna pull out and head the rest of the journey to Utah, which is about towing. It'll be about 6.5 hours. So that's what we got going on. See y'all tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. So we are at an RV park in Bakersfield. This is called Orange Grove RV. And you know what? These are all orange trees. I just figured it out. I'm such a dummy sometimes. These are all orange trees that are all around us. Anyways, we rolled in here last night and it's kind of empty, and we just rolled in, grabbed our envelope, grabbed our spot, got all set up, and had a cozy night. The trains were running until like 11 o'clock, 11:30 last night, but then they stopped until 7 o'clock this morning. So it was kind of nice. We just heard the train whistle. Anyways, Travis is finishing up putting this thing together so that we can take off, and we're gonna hit the rest of our trip today. So stay tuned. It's a pretty big park. Laundry facilities and bathrooms close by. Most of these are 90-foot pull-throughs, which we love. Pull-throughs, right? You don't have to back in. We are newer to RVing because that thing has been sitting around. So we definitely are getting used to like the routes, the ins and the outs. And so you go the right direction. So it's definitely cool. Thank you for staying at Orange Grove RV Park. So anyways, even though Bakersfield is kind of not the prettiest place, it's not a bad place to stay. This RV park, that is. So if you need a reference of somewhere to stay halfway to Utah, here you go. Someone leaving now. Hey guys, all right, we are on our long trip. We're almost to Vegas. We got Griffin, Travis is driving over here. And we should be pulling into our RV spot right before dark. So we hope to get there before 6 o'clock, but there's a time change, there's an hour difference. So we're probably gonna roll in right about 6 o'clock. Anyways, I had told you guys that we have not been into Jeeping for very long, probably 2.5 years or so. And initially, I had always told Travis that I never wanted a Jeep. I didn't like them. I just didn't really care for them at all. So we always just had trucks and whatnot. Anyhow, our girlfriend decided she wanted to go on an overnight trip. She had a Jeep. What's her Jeep? A JL?
She had a JK, but she bought a lifted JL.
Okay, she had a JK, but she bought a lifted JL. And the JK is the one we borrowed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the JK was sitting in the driveway, and she was getting ready to sell it. And she's like, let's go on a Jeep trip, camping trip, and you guys drive that, and we're gonna drive our Jeep. And then we convinced our son Cole to come, so he brought his Tacoma, and our friends brought their Dodge truck and whatnot, and we went up to Blue Lakes, I think was the name of the place that we went, and we packed up, and this was just a stock Jeep, but it had no top on it, if I remember right. It was warm, and we just went off on the trail, and I'd never even really been off-road. We'd been off-road in our Tundra, but nothing crazy, because we didn't want to scratch it up and all that. So now granted, Travis had gone jeeping with his best friend years and years ago, and he was trying to convince me to buy this Jeep, this 2-door lifted TJ. And I drove it around for a good weekend or so. It was a stick shift manual, and after a little while I didn't really care for it. It was fun, but it had no top or anything on it, and I couldn't go shopping and leave the stuff in the car. I was afraid it was going to get stolen and all that. This is just me. This is my mindset here. So we could have bought that Jeep for a good price, and he had done some mods to it. It was a nice Jeep, but I told Travis no. Okay, so back to the story. So now we go camping, and we pull off we're off on this trail. It's not anything crazy. And we find a camping spot, and we stayed the night, and we kind of went a little crawling that night. They took their Jeep and did more than I think we did. I don't even know if we even took our Jeep out, but went up like a hill and whatnot, and I was like kind of freaking out, not thinking that it would make it, but of course it made it. And then I started to change. It did make it.
Kind of freaking out?
Oh, I was definitely...
The reason we never went off-road is because of the anxiety that it caused you constantly, and it wasn't worth it.
I do get anxiety. And I'm afraid of heights. So anyways, as we're driving home the next day, I am videoing, and because there's no doors, there's no top on this thing or anything, I'm sticking my hand out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, babe, I'm getting all the tire movement. This is so much fun. I'm getting the rocks. And I told him, I'm like, I think we need to buy a Jeep. And I think we went home that night, and we asked our friend, how much do you want for this Jeep? This is little stock Jeep. And she told us. We went to the bank. We bought it the next day. Now we have this Jeep. It came with the frame on the outside, right? What was that frame that Sandy had on it?
Oh, it was to carry luggage and stuff.
Yeah, it had like the outside luggage.
It just had a frame outside that you can load stuff on the roof.
So it had that. It had a bikini top on it, I want to say, and all that.
Yeah, we put a bikini top on it.
We did a few things to it. Very few things. We only had it.
If you were ready to dump $50,000 into 2017, and you said, yeah, it's just a toy.
Now, This model also did not have...
It was a Sport.
It was a Sport model. So it didn't have any GPS or navigation or anything. It didn't have a good system for me. What am I trying to say?
It didn't have lockers. It didn't have 4-to-1 transfer case. It didn't have data 44s.
Well, those things I didn't care about at the moment. I didn't care about the stereo system and how that I could connect.
The stereo that was in it would
not good.
Scream at you.
Yeah,
Incoming phone call.
Incoming phone call. So it was not. He said this to me, babe. Do you want to go check out a new Jeep down at the dealership before we dump $25,000 into this Jeep and lift it and all these things? I have to back up. We might have been, because why did I think I wanted a Jeep? Unless we started watching YouTube after this.
We started watching YouTube after.
Okay. So we hadn't really...
You like the top off and the doors off.
Yeah, I like the top off, the doors off. We weren't really watching a lot of Jeeping yet on YouTube, but then that went crazy after we bought this thing. So anyways, we drive down to the dealership, and this is during COVID, I want to say.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of Jeeps on the market, or on the lot. There was like 3.
So the next morning after I asked you that, you said I asked you if you wanted to look at a new Jeep. You told me no, it was a toy. The next morning you got up and you said, let's think about looking at Jeeps. What do you think? I'm like, sure. What changed your mind? I really like the heated seats and the heated steering wheel.
I like the heated seats and steering wheel?
Yeah. That was the push.
I didn't have that in my Mercedes?
Yeah, you had that in your Mercedes, but you didn't drive the Mercedes with the top
Right.
and doors off.
This is me. This is dumb Jenny. Okay. I wanted to have a Jeep that I wasn't going to be cold in. Okay. I am now getting it. Okay. So, what is this? Somebody passing on by here. A weird thing. Oh, those are containers. Very cool. Container stack. So, anyways, we go down and there's we have all white vehicles. If you haven't looked, we have a white truck, white Tacoma, white Lexus, whatever. There's a white JL UR sitting on the lot and with red interior, of course, right? Red interior. And we get in this thing and it's a manual. And they let us get the keys to test drive it, and they did not go test driving with us. They just asked for our driver's license. So I'm like, okay, let's go. I haven't driven a stick for a while, but I learned to drive on a stick. I've driven many manuals in my life. So we go out to the parking lot nearby, and I'm like, he's driving it, and he's like, I like it, it's cool. And I'm like, hey, let me drive it. So then I get in it, and it drives like butter. You know, these new vehicles drive great. So we bought this thing, right? Now we have two Jeeps. We end up selling the first Jeep within a few weeks. We got rid of it, and then we dumped everything into our Jeep that we have now. You have not done a run over yet on what that Jeep has, but what does it have today?
4.5 inch lift, 1 tons and 40s.
We need steering really bad.
Yeah.
In fact, steering kind of went out on...
it's not out, but it's on its way.
Yeah, when we went on the RTF trail, he was noticing it not doing very well. So I think that was our last trail that thing's been on. So anyways, I'm working on that because everything is $3,500. $3,500. You want this? $3,500. So I'm working on it. So anyways, that's how we got into Jeeping. Then we started watching YouTube, and...
I've never built a Jeep.
Yeah. He's been a mechanic most of your life, right?
Yeah.
Most of his life he's been a mechanic. My dad was an auto mechanic when I was little. Like, when I first met Travis, we've been together for 25 years, 26 years or so.
Since 97.
97. We've been married 22 years, I want to say. Our very first conversation was about Pennzoil oil.
Pennzoil versus Kendall.
Pennzoil versus Kendall. And I was trying to think of what could I talk to this guy about, because I know he likes cars. And my dad, I grew up in an automotive family. My dad owned his own shop, a couple shops when I was a kid. So I love grease, the smell of grease and oil and exhaust. I like when you start up the car. So I love all that stuff. Grew up in all that. So meeting him, so he's never built a Jeep before. He's done trucks, lifted trucks. When I met him, he had a Chevy fleet side or step side? Step side on 44s. Okay, this was in my eyes was a monster truck. I'll have to show some pictures of that truck if I can pull them up. So yeah, this is our first Jeep. And then we really got into watching, I know you guys watch Light Bright. Light Bright is the first couple that we saw, and Travis is like, look at what they wheeled from the beginning and then where they've come, and we were watching them and their stepchild, and I said, you know what, I want to wheel like that. Like, that looked so much fun. So we basically just kind of went from there, and here we are. So now we're driving to Utah, southern Utah, and we really like the scene of Sand Hollow and all that out there. Never been to Moab, but that we need to build our Jeep a little bit different, I think, for that type of wheeling, but that's fine. And then eventually, I no longer have my LJ. I had an LJ for about 8 months. And we just were dumping all of our money into this Jeep. And I just was really thinking, you know, it's maybe not the time for us to have 2 Jeeps right now. So I'll have another one at some point in time, but just right now is not the time. So anyways, that's what we're doing. That's a little bit of where we've come from and what we are doing now. And I also think that we didn't realize how much we would love, he didn't realize how much I would love Jeeping, and that we love doing it together. We do a lot of things together: boating, Jeeping, traveling, but we just love doing it together on our own as a couple. So I do a lot of the spotting and he does the driving. So anyways, that's it. That's a little bit of our background. Back to the road trip. We will keep you posted when we come through Vegas. Okay, you guys, so we have arrived. We're at our RV park in Hurricane, and we've got all set up with our rig. I'll have to show you guys, but we're all here. We're actually going to move spots. In a couple days, we're going to move to a bigger spot. But anyways, we just got back from the post office, and I took the address from here, which is our new address, our physical address. And then I got a P.O. box. Yay! I got a P.O. box by just using my California driver's license, which showed my face. But even though it shows my Sacramento address, I used the address from here, this RV park. She goes, this is like your mortgage address now, because you have paperwork that says that you're staying at that RV park. So we were able to get a P.O. box. So I got a P.O. box. Tomorrow we're going to go to the DMV, and I believe we're going to get driver's licenses. Travis and I are both going to do driver's license for Utah. Then we're going to get insurance for our truck and our RV, and then go back to the DMV and register the truck and the RV with Utah. So stay tuned. That's what we're doing next. Okay, here's our spot. We're all set up for the moment. But like I said, we're gonna move spots to a little bit bigger spot over there, so we can put both of our, we can do another car if we want to have another car, because right now we don't have room for something else besides the dually. But this is a great RV spot. There's laundry, clubhouse, everything here. So like I mentioned, we're going to go to the DMV tomorrow and kind of deal with driver's licenses and then set up the insurance second, because you have to do everything in motion, you know, like in consecutive ways. Otherwise, you can't get your stuff to be registered if you don't have insurance. So I will update you guys tomorrow on that, and we'll be driving around a little bit more in Hurricane, kind of give you guys the lay of the land. They're doing construction nearby, so we're here listening to that. But we've been able to work from the RV, so we had a couple meetings today, and now we're just gonna kind of figure out what else we need to do. So anyways, that's it for now. More to the video to come.